Hi students, welcome back to our teaching lesson for this week. So my name is Miss Shireen, and for today I'm just going to walk you through on what a preparation outline is and what a speaking outline is. So if you ask me, is outline important? Why do we need a preparation outline and why do we need a speaking outline for our speeches? Just the same if you ask an architect. Is a plan or blueprint important to build a building? The answer is yes. Okay, without a plan or without a blueprint, you will never be able to see the entire structure of the building and to also um, identify or evaluate what works and what not. Right? So for this week, we are going to look at what preparation outline is and what will be the guidelines to come up with a good preparation outline. And at the same time, what is a speaking outline and what would be the guidelines to come up with a good speaking outline. So are you ready? All right. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so preparation outline and speech outline. What we'll be covering for today's lesson would be the preparation outline. What is a preparation outline? What would be the guidelines and an example? And if we have time, then we will go through what speaking outline is, the 4 guidelines to prepare a good speaking outline, and also the example. All right, so let's begin. So before we begin, can I ask you just a few easy questions? Number 1, why is it important to outline your speeches? What if you don't outline? And what if you outline? Number 2, what is a preparation outline? And what are the guidelines for writing a good preparation outline? Number 3, what is a speaking outline? And what are the guidelines for writing a speaking outline or a speech outline? So let's begin with the first. What is a preparation outline? A preparation outline is a detailed outline developed during the process of speech preparation. So this simply means you do this before you deliver the speech. That includes the title. Number 2, specific purpose. Number 3, central idea. Number 4, introduction. 5, main points. 6, subpoints. 7, connectives. Okay, what would be the connectors? 8, conclusion. And lastly, bibliography on the references that you may use to develop your speech. Okay, so these would be the 8 guidelines for the preparation outline. State. Number 2, identify. Then you label. 4, you use. 5, you state again. Next, you label. 7, you attach. And lastly, you give. So what are all these things? Okay, so number 1, the first guideline is state the specific purpose of your speech. What do you want to achieve from your speech? Do you want to inform? Do you want to persuade? Do you want to entertain? What is the purpose of your speech? Number 2, identify the central idea. So the central idea over here would simply mean your thesis statement. What is the main idea of your overall speech? Number 3, next, label the introduction, label the body, and label the conclusion. Once you have done drafting your speech, don't forget to label each part. And number 4, use a consistent pattern of symbolization and indentation. For instance, if you write I, then make sure you use I. If you write next, NXT, then make sure you use a consistent pattern. All right. Number 5 would be state your main points and subpoints in full sentences. So why is this important that you write in full sentences in your preparation outline? Is so that you'll be able to see beforehand the sentences that you'll be saying when you're going to present next. Okay, and with that, it gives you an overall perspective on what you may say and what you may not say, and how to improve, okay, on the choice of words, on your language before the day where you're supposed to deliver your speeches. Okay, next, number 6 would be label your transition, your internal summaries, and also your internal previews. Number 7, don't forget to attach your bibliography so you know where to refer to again if you would like to look at the source of your material. And lastly, give your speech a title if one is desired. All right, so let's begin with number 1. Okay, so state the specific purpose of your speech. Right, for now, the specific purpose statement should be a separate unit that comes before the outline itself. Okay, so perhaps you just write specific purpose and write in a statement of what is it? What is your purpose? What is it that you want to achieve by the end of your speech? Number 2, include the specific purpose to make it easier to assess how well you have constructed the speech to accomplish your purpose. So by the end of the day, this is something that you can always go back to, okay, to see whether your speech meets the purpose or not. All right. Number 2, identify the central idea. The specific purpose statement should be a separate unit that comes before the outline itself. So you should include the specific purpose to make it easier to assess how well you have constructed the speech to accomplish your purpose. All right, next. Number 3, label the introduction, body, and conclusion. If you label the parts of a speech, then you will be sure that you indeed have an introduction and conclusion. Okay, so it is through these labels, it is by labeling that you realize whether all these parts that you're supposed to have is in your speech or not. Okay, so usually the names of the speech parts are placed in the middle of the page. So you label first, then you write, or in the far left margin. But it doesn't matter anyway. It is your preparation outline. The outline should be what works for you. Okay. Next, number 4 is to use a consistent pattern of symbolization and indentation. Okay, so in the most common system of outlining, main points are identified by Roman numerals, then indented equally, so you indent it a little bit, and to be aligned down the page. So sub points are identified by capital letters and are also indented equally so as to be aligned with each other. So a sample looks like this. Okay, so this would be your main point, then you have sub point. Okay, so this is using Roman, then this you use alphabets in capital, then this you use numbering, then this you use small letters. And the same for your second main point, sub point, sub point, and so on. All right, so in your preparation outline, by outlining your speech this way, it gives you clearer view of what you're going to say and whether you have enough points or not to meet the structure of the overall speech. So if your speech and presentation has a very strong structure, then the tendency for your speeches or presentation to fall apart is very minimal. Okay, so number 5, state main points and sub points in full sentences. So if you see, okay, on your left, this is quite an ineffective preparation outline as compared to this one. All right, so if you can see over here, these are all written in full sentences. So for example, number 1, King began his civil rights career in the Montgomery bus boycott of 1955 to 1956, as opposed to the one on the left, Montgomery. So Montgomery, what? It is something that you cannot come back again later time of the day, okay, to really check whether have you covered certain points. So over here, it is very important and vital for all of you to really state your points and sub-points in full sentences so that you know whether your ideas are developed fully or not. Okay, so the ones over here, okay, This would be better if this is a speaking outline, because you don't need full sentences to be used as your speaking outline. You just need a reference, okay, just a keyword, and this keyword would ignite, okay, and jog your memory so that you know what to say, and that's it. That would be a speech or speaking outline, but not preparation outline. Okay, so over here on the left, this may serve better as speaking outline, but virtually useless as a preparation outline. Okay, the labels are vague. Vague means unclear, and there are no distinct ideas. You don't really see how the ideas are really developed. Okay, and not just that, it does not indicate clearly the content of the main points and subpoints. You don't actually know the content. It's like people hand over you a box, okay, and it's written there, box, so you don't know what is inside. Okay, but if people hand you a box and it's labeled chocolate or fruit chocolate, you know, and certain brand and certain content, certain ingredient, then you know what is in the box. Okay, and this is what we need to aim to do in our preparation outline. Okay, to have the kind like chocolate boxes. Next, it also does not reveal whether the speaker has thought out his or her ideas. So we don't really know over here whether the speaker has thought out his or her ideas, but over here we do know. Through the preparation outline, the speaker has actually thought through what he or she is going to say. Okay, all right, next. So it's very important for you. Okay, don't forget that difference. Okay, next, number 6 is to label your transitions, your internal summaries, and also your internal previews. One way to make sure that you have strong transitions, internal summaries are like summaries at the end of each paragraph. And internal preview are your opening statement of each paragraph to let people know what you're going to talk in that paragraph, in that first point or second point or third point, for instance. Okay, so usually it is not incorporated into the system of symbolization and indentation, but are labeled separately and inserted in the outline where they will appear in the speech. Okay, so these transitions are like then, next, first, but it is not part of the outline where you have seen just now the main points, subpoints, but this is labeled separately, but they still appear in your preparation outline. Okay, number 7 is to attach a bibliography. Okay, over here you include an outline of bibliography that shows all books, magazines, newspapers, and internet sources you consulted, as well as any interviews or field research conducted. Okay, so there are two formats mainly, Modern Language Association and American Psychological Association. So you will not actually learn this in depth this semester, but for the following semester where you'll be taking English for academic writing, this is what you're going to learn. Okay, but just a preview, it looks like this. All right, APA, you will state the name of the author, the last name, the year, and the page. Okay, but in contrast, for modern language, okay, you will just state Jones 15, the author's last name and the page number. There's no year. Okay, same when you cite. Okay, cite simply means when you put a reference of the name of the author and the book, okay, and the publisher, so that people who reads your paper or hear your speeches would want to have a whole of the reference, they can go to these citations. All right, so over here you can say Jane Austen, this is Jane Austen. Okay, so Austen J. Okay, she's the author for Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, if you're aware of these literature authors. Okay, and she's extremely famous. Okay, all right, so over here, Pride and Prejudice, Newton Press. So for MLA, it's a different format. Instead of J, it is written in full. Okay, and the title, and Newton Press, the year is at the back. Okay, so if you take a look, the formatting for AP and MLA is totally different for both, but you may use either, okay, MLA or APA in your preparation outline. But this would not be the essence of what is important. Okay, it is not that important as compared to the structure of your presentation or speech. All right. So lastly, give your speech a title if one is desired. All right. So there are certain ways of naming your speeches. Okay. Let us just take, for instance, group one and group two. Group one is more explicit. Okay. It is more surface. Example, gambling addiction, the rage to diet, living with deafness, unsafe drinking water. So from these speech titles, you already know what the speech is going to be about. Okay, it clearly reveals the topic, but it is not provocative. It is not interesting as those in the second group. So let us look at the second group. For instance, against all odds. Ooh, what's that? The art of wishful shrinking. Wow, what's that? The sounds of silence to actually mean living with deafness. Toxins on tap to actually mean unsafe drinking water. Okay, the art of wishful shrinking. The rage to diet, which means you only want to diet, but you're not doing it. Okay, gambling addiction against all odds. So if you can see, the second set of titles arouse more interest. It is more interesting, it is more provocative, but it doesn't give a clear idea as how the titles in group one did. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you ask me which is better, I would say it is up to you. What do you want to achieve by the end? Do you want to provoke an interest, or do you want to make it clear? Okay, so whatever title that you give to your speeches or your presentation, make sure it taps your purpose. Okay, all right. So this is also the third group of titles where you can always ask questions. Do you really think you can beat the odds? Diets, how effective are they? Can you see what I'm saying? Is your water safe to drink? So putting your titles in questions, okay, is also one of an interesting way to attract your audience to really want to listen to your entire presentation or speech. All right, so I guess that is all for now. I will continue, and I'm going to continue the next on speaking outline in my next video. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have learned to identify the difference, especially in this one. A good preparation outline and a less effective preparation outline. I hope you have seen the two differences, okay, and know by heart, okay, why that is more effective, why this is less effective. And not just that, I hope you also know this is how it looks for a preparation outline, okay, with the outline and the indentation. Okay, this is called indentation. Okay, all right. And yep, okay, that is all that is what matters for preparation outline. So I will see you in the next teaching video for speaking outline. Till then, bye bye.